Silent please, cameras are rolling.
Nick MAURER, SACS first team head coach.
Part of the setup for about 5 years at Western Province.
Explorer, student and rugby player.
Here to talk a little bit about the Craven week that never happened.
It was obviously something that all the players want to be part of.
It's tough, the cards that have been dealt, I guess.
Having no Craven week and no rugby at all has been absolutely heartbreaking.
I mean, the one on Neil Fenter was on holiday and they had a serious injury and they phoned and father drove him back, ranged, got his kit, flew him up, and you know, he got to play a game. I think that's what it means to the boys.
I never played Craven Week, but my dad and my brother both played Craven Week.
It's a tournament where we flex our muscles big time in South Africa to the rest of the world.
I had the privilege of captaining the Craven Week team.
It's a real stepping stone for any rugby player.
It's the best probably schoolboy tournament in the world.
A lot of memories, just unbelievable.
I actually don't have words for it.
That vibe and atmosphere, and then you can obviously hear the fans going hard.
In the West Brom's jersey, capping ceremonies, becoming their hero.
Achievement, being part of something bigger than yourself.
To be able to play with superstars, basically.
It's a privilege to coach at Craven Week.
I think it's something that even guys that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old think about and talk about when they see their mates again.
I'll forever, remember my days that I have at Craven Week. I wish I could play now again.
That's when you start realizing, okay, there might be a good chance of hopefully one day making a career out of rugby.
RASS. The switch is always good on the counter from a kick. This is Nkosana. Nkosana to WILLEMSE. WILLEMSE is going to go over. That's a good try.
WILLEMSE on the inside is the captain. More RASS. We've been missing tackles today. Mostert cuts back on the inside. Mostert stepping. Mostert going all the way.
Craven Week's very special for me. I never got to play myself, but I used to love watching it. And it's a bit like Wimbledon as a kid. You loved it, and you played tennis in the street. The same as Craven Week. You grew up watching it. It was great. So I'm excited for boys, and obviously this year's been a massive loss, to the matric boys throughout the country.
Yeah, Craven Week to me it's a festival where the top schoolboys go at each other and go play. To measure themselves.
The best part of Craven Week is that all the schoolboys, a few weeks ago, you were enemies playing against each other, and then you have to play together in one team, and that's just phenomenal for me, and to just show the camaraderie and brotherhood between one another.
Just getting closer off field, which is something a lot of people don't see, and just getting in those dark times together and forming a bond like irreplaceable is just. I think that's the main thing I love about rugby.
I think Craven Week's definitely made me a better rugby player. You get exposed to different coaches, different players, better players, so everyone kind of brings the best out of each other.
It was always on TV, and it's great to see your schoolboy heroes playing in a provincial team.
And then later in life to realise that guys that you played with, like the Bobby Skinstads, that went on to play many tests for South Africa. So Craven Week is really a special time where guys from all South Africa come together and put down those first markers in terms of going forward in the game.
There's definitely a very strong correlation between Craven Week representation and becoming a Springbok. Obviously it's not the be-all and end-all, but I think it's an amazing platform for a lot of the kids to showcase their talents, get spotted.
I nearly didn't make it to the Craven Week. When the team was selected, I was sitting on a bench. Then I gave my all throughout the year, playing my heart out for my school, for my mom, for my dad, for everybody.
Looks like the big number 8 who's been good for his side this afternoon, GIDEON van Wyk.
And then the team sheets came out and I saw my name was on number 20. I thought it was over for me.
If he kicks it for us, there's time.
We went to the first practice at Craven Week, the second one, and the third one. Coach Faisal Adam called me and said, Gideon, we saw what you did and we will like to give you the opportunity to be in a starting team, but you are all going to sit on a bench for the first game against PAARL. Small was big, was happy, and it was the build-up till Craven week was phenomenal.
Voliter puts himself into space. Kane Voliter sprinting up the field, options left and right, feeds it to Bobby Alexander. Alexander feeds Van Beek, and that is a sensational team try.
The Craven week is fantastic, and obviously Western Province are a very strong province and have always been, and as you can see now with 4 teams competing in the under-18 competition, 2 in the Craven week, 2 in the Academy week, I think it talks to the depth and the structures within Western Province. The Craven Week 15 team was a point or 2 away from almost meeting the Craven Week team in the unofficial final.
In the Western Cape, people love their sport. Whether it's the SA under-20s playing at Makoto, whether it's Western Province, whether it's under-13 rugby, you attract massive crowds in Stellenbosch and in the Western Province in particular.
Western Province rugby is very blessed with the amount of top quality schools and talent in the Western Cape. Not necessarily just the schools, but just general talent.
The schools rugby in Western Province is definitely the strongest. I mean, we have 8 schools in the Premier A League, the 3 PAARL schools plus ROOS, and then you have got the 4 traditional English schools in Cape Town, which is always very strong.
It's really incredible. I think the amount of top schools we have in and around the province is testament to that.
If you go, you check WYNBERG, Bishops, Paul Roos, Boys Eye, Gym, all of those schools, you know, which has got numbers of players you can choose from.
The league is the toughest in the country by a country mile. I mean, we saw last year, Stellenberg absolutely pip us at their ground in a game which was 5 tries apiece. Great rugby, kicking out of hand. We saw from the 10s, the fullbacks, and it was a great game, great spectacle, but we came off second best, and you've seen the results from Durbanville, you know, over the years.
And more of them are coming to the forefront, the so-called minor schools that are putting a lot of effort into their rugby. They've got some really good quality rugby men at the head of their schools. For instance, Milnerton, Port of Filet, Durbanville, all schools that are really coming to the forefront.
I think schoolboy rugby is so professional now. They're very much playing to sort of professional rugby templates in everything that they do. So to have a sort of mindset of it's Craven week, we've got some great players, let's just run everything, you know, I don't think it would work that well. As a coach, what you'd be really looking to do is allow a certain level of freedom, guys to express themselves. After all, it's an opportunity to showcase your talent and become a professional rugby player at the end of the day. But within certain parameters where you've got some sort of shape in terms of everything that you're doing, so that it's not just total chaos.
We are lucky with Western Province. We do have the best talent in South Africa. The quality of the players are so good that a 9 from Paul Gym and a 10 from Boys, I can easily play together after 3 weeks of training.
Got a chance here. WILLEMSE. Lombard somehow managed to hang on, gets the pass away, and the try is scored by RASS.
We accepted each other because we knew that we were all coming from different schools, we were rivals, and obviously when we came together we were all excited to play with each other. I mean, I was really excited to play with Gianni Lombard. I've always wanted to play with him, and obviously now I've got the opportunity. And yeah, it was just amazing to have Salman as well in your team, you know. Now he's not taking you, he's taking the position. So yeah, it was just fantastic, it was amazing.
I think the 2016 one I'll remember the most, because I think that's where I think I made the decision not to come to the Lions, and I think for me, I just wanted to show everybody that I played to the best of my abilities. Even though I was going to the Lions, I still wanted to make the coaches proud. I still wanted to make everybody else proud, my teammates proud.
I think the fact that Craven Week is off is stopping a lot of hidden gems from being discovered. As we've seen in the past, I think Craven Week it completely just shows you talent that you've missed throughout the whole country, and I think that's a pity some boys don't have a full stepping stone to maybe go pro next year or pursue rugby as a dream.
Some guys just might need it, just one opportunity, and that's all it takes sometimes, or one run. Jason Johnson, for instance, last year played in the Craven Week 15 side in one of the final games, and he had literally one run, and it was a massive good run, and he was almost into this SA school side. So that's how quickly it can change for you.
I think a lot of boys are contracted before Craven Week already. I think with the Wilde Klaver, the Noordside, you got Monas 100 years next year, which has been labelled as like a World Schools Festival. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to watch boys play top rugby games and be seen in an environment where they're comfortable, when they can perform.
Previously, a lot of the scouting were done at Craven Week, but now most of the scouting or recruiting is done on the festivals, and so many games are played on TV or on live stream that the unions know exactly who they want to sign, so they don't have to wait for the Craven Week, where previously that was the main place where they all signed as players.
I think the show goes on, you know, from a recruitment and from a professional rugby point of view. They've got to look to the future. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's a forgotten generation, but in my experience, I think the cream does rise to the top eventually.
I'm also, you know, never played Craven Week, so for me it's not that important in terms of where you want to go as a player.
Rugby's not finished after school. This is just part of it. If you really want to make it, no one can tell you you can't. Look at Peter Rousseau.
Being coached by Coach Peter Rousseau, it's just an absolute honour. He played for the Springboks and has that knowledge about the game, and just to pass that on to me just means so much.
I think they have a very good team. They've got a strong side, especially their backline is fast and very skillful. So I think they would have been the team to beat Ian Paul.
I just think Eden James, outside centre of Belgium, I think he would have definitely made it. He was in great form when I saw him this year.
David hands it off to Eden James.
He was actually selected for SA schools as well, but because of an ankle injury, he couldn't join them.
A boy like that, you're not sure it's going to happen. You know, a lot of people are fascinated by size and stuff, but at schoolboy level, he's incredible.
Kerwin Goetze, the wing, a real speedster, a great finisher.
Patso, who's also been contracted by the Sharks, I think. He's an exceptional player.
Played last year, he would have definitely made this year and probably have a good chance of making SA schools. A very, very talented player, lovely guy. He's going to go far, very far. You know, it's a pity we didn't play this year, because I think, you know, he would have really excelled and, you know, come to his full potential.
So Kevin Goetze, I've never known him until I've played with him, because that's when I saw, oh, this guy has talent and he's fast. Because I remember he was playing against us in Palchem under 16. He scored, I'm not sure if it's an 80-meter try. And I was looking, because I wasn't that fast, I wasn't going to catch him. And I was looking at our wings chasing him. And it was just hard for them to catch him. I was like, oh, hey, this is a problem. And we can't stop him. He's just too good.
Hands it off to Goetze. Goetze on the wrap around Davids. On the inside to Steenkamp. Steenkamp gives it to Jacobs once again. And Palchem are within 6 meters of the Bishop's strike.
You look at how Newlands Day panned out right at the beginning there before the COVID-19 break. There was some real talent on display there, and I think we would have seen a far more representative Craven Week setup than maybe in the past. At Lucid, I've always favoured Bupa Vukuzela from Rondebosch, although I think he's looking to specialise as a hooker.
Saw him last year play hooker, Lucid prop and blindside flank for Rondebosch in the season. So he's a specimen. He's a really talented footballer. He's again one of those complete players who's got great skills. He can throw in the line out, he carries, he's quick, and he's a beast with ball in hand defensively.
I'm always now playing a lot of position. I play prop, flank, hooker, sometimes 8-man. But my preferred position, it's a hooker, because I think that's where I do a lot of work. And then at prop, I just get tired and I just lazy around. And sometimes I hide behind the rocks. But obviously at hooker, I just go full on, full out. I don't get tired pretty easy, because I'm scrumming, but not like as a prop, because prop you put too much power and strength in scrumming.
Oh, Vukuzela right through. Does he have the pace to get all the way? Looking for support. Oh, what a pass. What a try.
I don't know if you saw the game at Newlands with Gim and Bishops. I mean, it was unbelievable. Just what a game of rugby. And the way Bishops play compared to to him, and to that first try, it just was, I mean, Bishop's light blue scrum, I'll never forget it. Hits a line through the hole, poof. That was brilliant.
Here goes Bishops.
What a try. No, yeah, I mean, scoreline aside, that PAARL Gym game was one of my favourite games I've been a part of. Apart from the atmosphere and whatever, playing together as a matric group, in and amongst even the PAARL Gym boys. Obviously, we'd been in various squads with them since under 16, so sharing a field with those guys was just, it was good fun, and I think the result really did get swept under the carpet, and we kind of just, looked to the enjoyment side of the game, and the result didn't go our way, but in the bigger picture, I think it was a massive privilege and opportunity to play one more time with our mates, especially at Newlands. 2018 till now, I've been the head coach. Obviously, this year we're we miss out. We've had 40 minutes at Newlands, and this matric group, there's going to be some Springboks in this group.
Bishops in particular, they had a very young team last year that performed really well, and I think 4 of their players played in the Craven Week side last year.
Bishops always had a lot of talented players this year. They're one of the best sides, and I think in a very long time.
I know the Bishops this year has a very strong team. I actually think that they, with PAARL Gym, they're actually the 2 teams to beat. I think they could have easily had 4 or 5 players in the Craven Week team, and also in the SS school side.
This year was meant to be a big year for me. I felt it was meant to be. Played against the best of the best last year. I felt like at school level and Craven Week, I was able to prove myself a bit more, show my skills and my physicality a bit more than last year. But sadly, that's not to be. So
I like Connor, and he's a gentleman. I like, he's just a nice boy, and I think he was outstanding last year.
Connor and I had a few chats last year, and not all good ones. I think he was very let down by the fact that he didn't make province in under 16, and I think his making SS schools is just testament to the mentality he has as a player to not make an under 16 age group and make SS schools the following year. I think that's just remarkable, and all credit to him, and I think he deserves everything that's going to come his way.
Connor Cuddles Evans caps off a fantastic day in the office by getting a try for Western Province.
Sasha, I've been playing with him since I was 14, and his style of play is absolutely amazing, and it's just great to play with a fly-half that controls the game and sees the space.
I think Sasha's very good at fly-half. He had an outstanding game. I actually said to Johnny Jones afterwards, your 10 is for province. And he laughed, no, we got so much talent. And I said, no, well, he's good, he's there.
It's a privilege for me to coach him because he is the complete package, a guy who can kick out a hand, put it anywhere you want him to put it, and carries hard to the line. Defensively, I don't have to hide him in the trams.
Very talented player, one of the best flyers I've seen for a long time, so I think he'll go really far.
I'm probably privileged to coach the next Springbok fly-off at schoolboy level.
Mkome Zulu is over for the score.
Taking the ball to the line nice and aggressively.
It's over. Mkome Zulu. Oh my goodness, that was depth. Mkome Zulu back on the inside to Oliver Jones. Quick ball to Mkome Zulu.
I mean, this Mkome Zulu has been fantastic.
Let's go to McDonald. Mkome Zulu looking for try number 2.
Advantage, pulling it down. Mkome Zulu, little chip over the top, and he's regathered. Little bit of magic.
And this is just terrific. Mkome Zulu, oh my absolute goodness. Good hands. The cross kick finds his mark. Wow, oh wow.
Stand up and clap your hands. They love it in the stands. Brilliant from Sasha the Rock Mbokodo.
Guys like Marco, David, Craven, Sesa, Mkome Zulu. That's guys, that's the Kanye for Kazela. That's just guys with an unbelievable work rate and guys who really want to make it in rugby.
Look forward to this year with big excitement. Marco David, he's also the head boy of our school. He played lock for Western Province Craven Week. We think he definitely would have played Craven Week.
He put us under pressure last year in the line-out especially. Very talented player, and he was grade 11 last year, mate in first Western Province side, so he would have been there this year definitely.
Marco and Connor both play like sevens, real good with ball in hand. in terms of the classic lock, you had Enos as well from SACS, you know, really workmanlike. But I think the modern day game has kind of forced us to pick those kind of mobile locks, like a Peter Steph the toy. They can play at the lock, but he's also very happy at 7 with his mobility and taking people on.
From a SACS point of view, obviously biased towards my own guys, and Enos Indiao at lock as well, and Hlumelo and Tweni as a hooker as well, someone who's got a lot of X factor, and I think he also would have been knocking on the door. So many good loose forwards. There's EMIRATES from ROOS. You got Hanekom from Boys High.
Cameron Hanekom at the back of that scrum. Yeah, they were definitely up front this year. Would have been a difficult bunch to contain. We had a little bit of them at Newlands on a Tuesday night, and yeah, they play with a lot of physicality and that mobility.
PAARL boys, we knew that they were coming with a huge pack because they are forwards. They were SA rated.
Abraham Reinicke, the loosehead prop, is off to the Sharks. He's been offered a contract there, and I can see a massive change in him. You know, he realises now what works, and he's focused on his training and position-specific skills. So we're working on that with him.
PAARL boys have got very good props. Lombard, I know the tighted prop is a prop player that I think will go far.
You think about PAARL boys, first name you think about is Sebastian Lombard. He's a big prop. That's number 3 jersey at Craven was his to lose.
The strength of schoolboy rugby in Western Province is really incredible. I think the amount of top schools we have in and around the province is testament to that.
We've got some of the strongest schoolboy rugby schools in the world, actually, and there's no surprise that Western Province will either be in the final or, you know, sometimes arguably even have the top 2 sides.
If you think of, Boys High, PAARL Gym was every year in the top 5. PAARL ROOS, the last 2 years were also in the top 5. So it's already 45 players. Then you then Boland Landbou, and then you got Durbanville, Stellenberg, and then you got all the southern schools. There's actually so many players that's good enough to play.
Yeah, the PAARL schools, you know, if they're part of Boland, we're happy to have them part of us. They really bring, you know, the different strength to Western Province rugby. I just think with Western Province putting that extra team in has shown that we are actually capable of holding our own as just a pure Western Province team.
I know it's an age-old debate, you know, why are those schools not playing the Boland, and, you know, why aren't we spreading the game and then, you know, maybe being more players from the southern suburbs playing for Western Province and then those guys playing in the Boland.
Boland Landbou has been playing in the Western Province League for quite a number of years now, and I think the main reason for that is we have 18 rugby teams in our school, and there's only one school in the Boland, HT Strosday, who can match us with teams.
I think that's the key. We play in the Western Province Premier League, so that would be PAARL ROOS, PAARL Gym, Boland Landbou, Boys High, and then SACS Bishops, RONDEBOSCH, WYNBERG. So that is the Western Province Premier League, and therefore, you know, it falls under the auspices of Western Province Rugby.
One year they had a fight about it. Apparently one year, PAARL Boys, PAARL Gym, and I think Boland Landbou went to Boland Rugby. But they also don't want us, because then no Boland player is making the side who actually is from the Boland. The Boland is a vast area, so they picked the side out of PAARL Gym, PAARL Boys High and Boland Landbou. So nobody from Worcester, Porterville, nobody made the side. So they said, but they don't want that. They want opportunities for those players again.
I think as an old Boland boy myself, I definitely think it gives the guys in the Boland a lot of opportunities for kids from small or less traditional schools to then represent their province. And I think the moment that you would move the more traditional schools in PAARL and Stellenbosch to the Boland, you would take away that opportunity.
quite a moot point. I think it's done and dusted that they will continue to play in the Western Province, and that's why Western Province will continue to be such a powerhouse.
It's the most glorious game in the world. It's the most momentous day in their rugby careers.
Those guys from Bloemfontein, they run everywhere. They miss the bus in the morning on purpose just to run to school. So, I mean, that's what they think of us, and we don't want to disappoint them.
Broad cuts out the man, Creel's over.
Around, running by Hlongwane, he will chip. The chase is on, the bounce of the ball will favour Hlongwane's in.
Want to lose out. If they say we can start playing tomorrow game, then I want to be ready to play tomorrow.
That is a great platform to showcase their talent.
For Free State to win the Craven Week, you need to play Western Province on a Saturday.
It's always an epic Craven Week clash, and it's one we always want to see in the final. Free State hosting Western Province.
That build-up towards that game was intense.